Benin Bronzes. The shocking truth about who really looted Nigeria's treasures. 1897 British raid exposed. They stole it. They stole it. This isn't just a historical footnote. It's a raw, open wound in the heart of a continent. For too long, the narrative has been twisted, obscured by colonial rhetoric and convenient amnesia. Today, we rip back the veil. We journeyed back to a time when the Kingdom of Benin, nestled in what is now modern-day Nigeria, stood as a beacon of civilization. This was not some primitive outpost, but a sophisticated, powerful empire. Benin was renowned for its intricate social structures, its formidable military, and above all, its breathtaking artistry. Its bronze and ivory works were, and still are, considered masterpieces of human creativity. Then came 1897, a date etched in infamy, marking a turning point that would forever alter the course of history for the Edo people. The official accounts speak of a punitive expedition, a necessary response to an act of aggression. But the truth, as we will uncover, is far more sinister, far more devastating. What the British called a punitive expedition was, in reality, a brutal invasion. It was an unprovoked assault on a sovereign nation, driven by motives far removed from justice. The invading forces unleashed unimaginable violence upon the people of Benin. Homes were razed, lives were extinguished, and the very fabric of a thriving society was torn apart. Benin City, a vibrant metropolis, was systematically destroyed. The magnificent royal palace, the spiritual and administrative heart of the kingdom, was deliberately torched and reduced to ashes. Thousands of innocent people, men, women, and children, were massacred in cold blood. Their lives were deemed expendable in the pursuit of colonial ambition and plunder. Amidst the chaos and destruction, the priceless Benin Bronzes were systematically plundered. These sacred artifacts, centuries of history and culture, were ripped from their rightful home. But why? What was the real reason behind this act of aggression? Was it truly about retribution, or was something far more insidious at play? The official story, peddled for over a century, claimed the invasion was a response to the killing of British officers. This narrative was a convenient smokescreen, designed to justify an act of unparalleled barbarity. The real truth behind the 1897 invasion is far more sinister, rooted in the darkest impulses of colonialism. It was not about justice, it was about conquest. The core motivations were simple: unbridled greed and insatiable colonial ambition. The British coveted Benin's resources, its trade routes, and its immense cultural wealth. Beyond mere economic gain, there was a deliberate attempt at cultural eradication. By destroying Benin's symbols of power and artistry, the invaders sought to break the spirit of a proud people. They desired not just the bronzes, but the power they represented. They sought to dismantle a thriving kingdom, to rewrite its history, and to assert their dominance through brute force and cultural theft. The invasion was a calculated act of cultural terrorism, designed to strip a people of their heritage and subjugate them entirely. It was a blueprint for colonial control. The British knew the value of these artifacts, not just monetarily, but as potent symbols of identity and sovereignty. Their removal was a strategic blow. This was not an accidental consequence of war. It was a deliberate, systematic looting operation. The scale and organization of the theft reveal its true intent. The world must understand that this was not a discovery or an acquisition. It was an act of state-sponsored theft, plain and simple. The narrative of saving these artifacts from a barbaric culture is a grotesque lie. They were stolen from a civilization that cherished and created them. Today, these masterpieces are scattered across the globe, held captive in institutions far from their homeland. They are trophies of a brutal conquest. You'll find them in the hallowed halls of the British Museum, the Ethnological Museum of Berlin, and countless other institutions. They adorn the walls of the powerful symbols of stolen heritage. Meanwhile, Nigeria, the rightful owner, is still fighting for their return. Decades of pleas, negotiations, and demands have met with resistance and delay. Why is the repatriation process taking so long? Why do these institutions cling so desperately to what is not theirs? The excuses are wearing thin. This was not just theft. It was an act of profound disrespect and cultural violence. It was an assault on the very soul of a people. We must call it what it is: cultural genocide. The deliberate destruction and appropriation of a people's cultural heritage is an act of war against their identity. It was a deliberate attempt to strip a people of their identity, to sever their connection to their past, and to diminish their sense of self-worth. The impact reverberates to this day. This is a wound that still bleeds, a constant reminder of colonial injustice. Every day these bronzes remain abroad, that wound festers. The world needs to know this truth, not just as a historical fact, but as a living injustice. We cannot move forward until we acknowledge the past. These artifacts are not mere objects. They are living history, imbued with the spirit and stories of the Edo people. They belong home. The argument that these museums are preserving them is a paternalistic insult. The Kingdom of Benin preserved them for centuries before the British arrived. Imagine your family heirlooms, your most sacred possessions, violently ripped from your home and displayed as curiosities by your aggressors. This is the reality for Nigeria. The moral imperative is clear. There can be no justification for continued possession of stolen goods, especially those acquired through such brutal means. This is not about politics. It is about fundamental human rights and dignity. It is about correcting a historical wrong that continues to cause pain. The outrage is not just historical, it is contemporary. Every day these bronzes are held captive. The injustice is perpetuated. The fight for repatriation is ongoing, a testament to the resilience of the Nigerian people. But progress is agonizingly slow, often met with bureaucratic hurdles and thinly veiled resistance. We must amplify these voices and hold those responsible accountable. The institutions that house these stolen treasures must face the moral and ethical consequences of their actions. It is time for the world to stand with Nigeria. It is time for these institutions to do the right thing, not just for Nigeria, but for the integrity of history itself. Share this video. Let this truth echo across the globe. Let no one remain ignorant of this profound injustice. Educate yourself and others about the true history of the Benin Bronzes. Challenge the sanitized narratives presented in museums and textbooks. Demand the unconditional return of these stolen treasures. Write to museums, speak out, and support organizations fighting for repatriation. The truth deserves to be heard. The stolen legacy deserves to be returned. The wound deserves to heal. What do you think should happen to the Benin Bronzes?